What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Offside. No suits, no scripts, just fan hockey talk. And here we go. It's Sunday night. You know what that means. Offsides in your ears, bringing you the latest from Leafland and across the NHL. And tonight, we got a bit of a banger of a show for you. What's coming up? Well, we'll be talking about JT Knies obviously signing their deals, but we'll also be talking about the Marner drama, finally getting a bow put on that. We'll also be talking about the draft, trades, and much more with our friend Jim Biringer as he joins us from Full Press Hockey. We can't wait to get him on here. It's going to be a great time tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So kick back, relax, and get ready for your favorite fan hockey show, Offside Hockey Talk. Well, let's get into that fresh sheet. That fresh sheet, ooh, the Zamboni just got off the ice. And, you know, it's no better than our friends over at Fresh Prints in Halifax, dropping your merch for whatever you need. Go check them out. They can make your favorite apparel for your favorite logo. Get it done. All right, so the biggest headlines around Leafland right now. We'll get to the Mitch Marner stuff in just a minute. We've already spent way too much time, way too much oxygen on one Mitch Marner. But right now, let's talk a little bit about Nazem Kadri. Why Naz, do you ask? Well, with Mr. Nazem Kadri, it was said that Elliot Friedman had said he was coming to the Leafs. There's a deal in place. Toronto and Calgary trying to make something happen there between those two teams. There was no fire. There was no smoke. Heck, there wasn't even a smoke signal sent out for this player to become a Toronto Maple Leaf yet again. It was not happening, folks. That was something that was stomped out by not only Fried himself, but every other insider said they don't see how it could be done. Maybe towards the trade deadline, but the player, A, has protection himself. B, Calgary doesn't really like to deal with Mr. Brad Treliving. We all know that. And then, of course, on top of many other things, the salary cap is a thing that happens in the NHL, and the Leafs probably don't want to have Nazem Kadri's cap hit on this team, which means you would have to severely sweeten the deal to Calgary to get Nazem Kadri in a Maple Leafs uniform. And to me, I don't think the Leafs are going to want to do that. I don't think the Leafs are going to want to pay an exorbitant price to get Naz back in this lineup, as much as all of us would like him back. But boy, isn't it revisionist history, the fact that so many of us wanted him out of the door. I didn't actually. I like what Naz brought. I think he got a little bit of bad luck with those suspensions, but I do believe a lot of people wanted this guy out of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now they want him back, which makes me think one day the same will probably be happening with Mitch Marner. Not right now. That wound is too fresh, but we will see what happens. But there is no Nazem Kadri coming to the Toronto Maple Leafs. We are not shipping Brendan Carlo picks and draft prospects over to the Calgary Flames to get Naz back. It's not happening, folks. It's just simply not the thing that you want to do. Now, for me, let's get into the Marner reaction here, okay? Key moment of the week here is Mitch Marner going to Vegas. So let's break it down on a microcosm level here, because Mitch Marner going to the Vegas Golden Knights apparently was already well in the works a year ago. He informed the Maple Leafs 2 years ago that he did not want to be a Maple Leaf anymore, really was ready to play out the contract, quote unquote, and then figure it out from there. So that, to me, tells me this guy's heart was not in it. Maybe you start reading into Matthews' too many passengers lines, as this guy was looking to already be somewhere else, already play with a different team. Who knows? But for me, he's a Vegas Golden Knight. You see the shimmy video when he's putting the jersey on and he's laughing and yucking it up. Well, you're no longer in a hockey hotbed. There's a lot of good Vegas fans. I'm not saying that, but it's no Toronto market. It's no Canadian market. And hey, let Vegas have the fun of letting Paul Marner call the shots and all those different things, because he was front and center as well as Mitch was there in Vegas. And all to them. Do your thing. Do what you need to do. I'm not here to bash. I'm not going to bash. But for me, it sucks. It sucks watching a player like Mitch Marner leave. And we all been saying, hey, we want to see him traded. We want to see him go. This guy doesn't need to be a Toronto Maple Leaf anymore. But for me, I look at Mitch Marner as a whole and say this guy was special. He did add something to this team. And I saw a tweet today that really caught me off guard for a second. We have a great goaltending tandem. I'm not going to say elite, but a great goaltending tandem. Our defense finally looks like it's sorted pretty much. And then with Mitch Marner in the fold at the point in time, it looked like our forward group might have been coming into its own as well, figuring things out. Now, Mitch isn't there, and maybe the balance comes throughout the lineup. One thing that players did complain about in the Big Four era was not getting room to breathe or a chance to establish an identity beyond those core four. And that was a complaint with a lot of players that came through this organization. So now maybe this does give the voice to the voiceless, so to speak, and allows those players to step up and have a bit of a more prominent role with the Toronto Maple Leafs going forward. Now we'll have to see how the lineup shakes out. There's players they're chasing after, and we will see exactly who those are as we keep going. But I want to say this. We got a little bit of a segment here in Fresh Seat called Who Cooked and Who Got Cooked. For me, shout out this week to Steve Dangle. And why do I say that? Not so often another podcaster will say shout out to another guy, but Steve Dangle and the SDPN, you know them. They're growing. They're great. Everybody's got their feelings on Steve, good, bad, or otherwise. But the video he made, go watch the arrow wasted video on Mitch Marner. And why do I say that? Go get yourself some knowledge. It is broken down so well. He does the entire timeline. You get to learn things you probably didn't know, rehash things you did know but forgot about. And it really does encapsulate the entirety of that situation with Mitch Marner to allow everyone to kind of sit back on one thing, look at another thing, deal with this thing, deal with that thing, and really understand exactly what happened with Mitch Marner. For me, I like the way Steve does this. I like the way he breaks this down. So again, shout out to Steve Dangle. Go check out his YouTube page. Go check out that video. It's absolutely done beautifully, and it's a way that it should be done. And I love the fact he's only done 2 of these videos, Phil Kessel and now Mitch Marner, as an era wasted. It may feel like an era wasted. We'll see. Because to me, the Leafs made the playoffs every single year Mitch Marner was in the lineup. The Maple Leafs were able to do things, but you watch that video from Steve and you really start to dig things in and think things differently for certain scenarios with Mitch Marner. But go get that done. The other part of it for me, who got cooked this week? We did. Maple Leaf fans. We got cooked. We got cooked going up to free agency. We were excited at the prospect. There was no signature on a contract for Sam Bennett, for Brad Marchand, for Aaron Ekblad. Nobody had anything on a dotted line. So we were all excited in La La Land, if you will. Well, we can move Carlo, sign Ekblad. Heck, we can put Brad up with Matthews. You know, Benny might look good as a second line center with JT on 3. Now they signed that sweetheart of a deal. None of them. None of them. Even the bread man, Mangiapane, not a Toronto Maple Leaf. Nope, signed somewhere else as well. And I understand you don't want to overpay for players, but Leaf fans, we got cooked. Take it like it is. We love being the center of the hockey universe. Everyone comes back to us, whether it's Vegas, whether it's Ottawa, Montreal. All those fan bases like to talk about us. For us, we got cooked this time. We were hoping some of these players were coming here and it would augment the loss of Mitch Marner and it'd be great. And so may the players that we got. They may be those things. But we all thought we were getting bigger and grander things, but we got cooked. So, hey. Steve Dangle, shout out for the arrow wasted video. You cooked this week, and Leaf fans, it is what it is. We got cooked. But that is the sheet this week, the fresh sheet of ice. We've now cut into it. So let's get into our Snipes and Scrubs brought to you by our friends at Boxing Rock Brewing Co. I'm fired up for this here. So for me, the standout, the snipe this week, we got no games. When we get into the games of the season, I'll have more meat on the bone for this stuff. But the snipe for me this week is Matthew Knies. Gets the deal done, talks about how he's excited, lets his feelings be known about Mitch Marner and what it means to lose him, but also talks about how meaningful and impactful John Tavares was, how meaningful it is to be a Toronto Maple Leaf, to get this done, to be here for a long time. He said he would have signed for longer. So he's happy to be here, happy to be a Maple Leaf. That lets me get excited about a guy who's sniping, wants to be here. So that's a snipe for us here. Obviously, we can't talk about the goals right now. There's nobody on the ice, guys. But this is a snipe. This guy signs a deal, wants to be a Leaf. He's a Gronk. He's already working out, trying to get better, trying to get heavier, getting ready to set another season on fire for himself and set new records in every single category, which is exactly what we want out of Matthew Knies. The not so hot for me, the player who, I don't know, to me, I'm going to say it like this, thinks his poop don't stink is Mr. Nick Ehlers. Kind of waited it out, figured out where he was going, did the LeBron kind of wander around of where he was going to sign, and ended up pretty much where everybody thought he was in Carolina. For me, it's a scrubby kind of move, man. I think you stay in Winnipeg, and especially the comment where I want to challenge myself. You want to challenge yourself. You stay in Winnipeg. You stay in a Canadian market, and you win there with Hellebuck and co. and get it done. You want to challenge yourself, Nick Ehlers. That's where you play. That's where you apply your trade. You want to go to Carolina, a team, hey, they're just like Winnipeg. They're always in the mix. They're always trying to go to the conference final or the second round and get things done, but they can't seem to get it done either. Do you think that maybe you're the one to get them over the hump? Who knows? We'll see. But for me, the scrub part is you saying you need a challenge. Winnipeg was that challenge, Nick Ehlers, to me. And like I said, you win there. You win in a Canadian market. You are an absolute god for the longest time. Look at guys in Toronto who didn't even win the cup, but took them far enough that they are just remembered as these machines. Doug Gilmour, Wendell Clark, you name it. Those players, you bring up those names, everybody's eyes light up and they get excited. So for me, Nick Ehlers was a guy in Winnipeg who could have had that kind of feeling if he had stayed. But we'll see. So I've seen a little bit of spicy takes around the Snipes and the Scrubs here. Seen a few spicy takes that the Leafs will not make the playoffs next season now that Mitch Marner has departed and the forward group is not as solid as it once was. Some Sens and Habs fans actually saying that they will again make the playoffs, but the Leafs will be the team on the outside looking in on those markets as they go on a playoff push. And for me, I say nay, nay. Nay, nay, nay. Not a chance. The Leafs will be in the mix again. You have Austin Matthews, William Nylander, John Tavares, Matthew Knies, and you have other complementary players that will now get an expanded chance and an expanded role. And there's still more rumors of what the Leafs will do, and we'll get to those things as we get going here. But I think you'd have to be off your rocker to think the Toronto Maple Leafs are not making the playoffs. As I said previously, the goaltending tandem, not too shabby. The defense, finally on its own, can do its own damn thing. Like it. The forward group, you lost Mitch Marner. That is a big loss. Let's make no bones about it. But at the same time, you still have an Austin Matthews, a William Nylander, your 1-2 punch. Your John Tavares coming off 38 goals. You have Matthew Knies, a budding power forward. And Easton Cowan, that is a question mark. And Leaf fans, do not anoint this man the Marner replacement just because of all he's done with the London Knights and the Memorial Cups and co. That does not make him the Mitch Marner replacement. Please put a pin in that and pin it up. Let this kid be his own kid. Let this kid figure his own way out here. That's the way it needs to be done in Leafland this season. If this guy makes the team, let him cut his teeth and figure it out. But to go back to the roster, you still have other guys who can contribute as well. Who knows if Max Pacioretty comes back, but I'd love to see him back as a guy in the playoffs for the Maple Leafs. Absolutely want to see him there. But to say the Leafs are going to miss the playoffs because Mitch Marner is not a part of this lineup, I think it's going to be more of a whole team getting this team forward. Will they finish first in the Atlantic? Maybe not. Will they have home ice? Maybe not. But will they definitely get in and make some noise? I think so. I think this team is going to be better suited to go further in the playoffs with more key parts throughout the lineup rather than relying on just those big four guys. And some people may say, well, James, you have the big four guys again. Knies, Matthews, Nylander, Tavares. We'll see. We'll see if that's the case there. But for me, I think this team is going to be constructed differently and able to move differently as they go through the playoffs coming up. But for Habs fans and Sens fans to say the Leafs won't make it, I don't think the Senators make the playoffs this year. I'll pin that right here in July, saying the Sens won't make it, but the Leafs, and I'll even say the Habs, will make the playoffs. All right, so that's our Snipes and Scrubs this week. let's slide into the social slap shots of the week, folks. That's right. So for me, I get messages all the time from one Coach Dave talking about Piper Crump. And the reason why I'm bringing up Piper is she is a young Leafs fan. She's playing her heart out in hockey, trying to get noticed. Obviously, that's what Coach Dave's doing, putting the videos up, tagging us all. I love it. So if you have a moment, I will do a single post about Coach Dave and just the videos he puts up about Piper, so you can go follow those, follow her journey, follow the young Leafs girl as she's trying to make her mark in hockey and make herself into professional hockey lore. I'm excited for her. She's out there. She's getting different tutelage and all that different stuff from all kinds of big names that you may know. So it's fun to follow her story, follow along with Coach, and just see the posts he puts up. So Piper from Offside and all hockey, we're watching your journey, excited for you. Keep pushing, keep going, don't quit. It's awesome to see Coach Dave put everything up, and we'll keep pushing that out there for you guys. Looking forward to seeing more videos throughout the summer as well. So keep her going. We absolutely love it, Piper. Now, to get into some debate and roast them, McDavid, the Oilers. Now, by my count, could have signed an extension on July 1st. We all know Leon Draisaitl took a little bit of time. The season-end presser for Connor McDavid, to me, opened a lot of eyes, said a lot about Connor McDavid, said a lot about what was going on there. I look at Connor McDavid and say, I don't know, man. Endless disappointments. Does this leave you wanting to debate the fact that, hey, he's leaving and maybe he doesn't sign a deal and it becomes the biggest topic of hockey throughout the season? Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a Maple Leaf, but I'm saying he may sign somewhere else. So I'm wondering, do we debate the fact that he hasn't signed a deal yet, or do we roast it and say this is nothing, he's going to sign a deal? I want to hear from you. Drop a comment. Let me know. Do we debate it or do we roast it? To me, I think we debate it. I think the fact that he said what he said in that press conference about doing what's best for his family, you know, all these different things. I know we're trying to read the tea leaves, and I'm not saying he's coming here. I'm just saying maybe he wants out Edmonton, wants a different opportunity, a different chance. I don't know. But for me, I'm saying that's got to be one of the things that we have to talk about. I'm just wondering where you guys fall. If you can drop a comment on that, that'd be absolutely great. Getting everything on the go here. But Connor McDavid in a Leafs uniform, guys, that would be absolutely magical. You'd have Connor and Matthews for a few years. They've been seen having dinner again. You'd also have Connor, probably your number one center, Matthews number two. Imagine those two guys on the power play with William Nylander. It is sky high, pie in the sky, excited stuff. But for me, you rub your hands together and you get really, really excited about something like that. But we'll see what happens here. The Maple Leafs still have a lot to figure out themselves this offseason and going forward. But it does look like they've left themselves the window of opportunity, shall we say, to get McDavid on this roster if that ever happens. We shall see. We don't know. We won't know until next summer, or if Connor McDavid puts pen to paper. So we will see if you are debating it or roasting it. For me, I think it's open for debate until he puts pen to paper. But we'll see what happens. So next week, folks, make sure you send in all of what you want to talk about. Send in your slap shots, send in your tweets, send in your DMs, whatever it is. We will make sure we get it in on the social slap shots of the week, brought to you by our friends over at the Hockey Podcast Network. But now we are getting into the guest bench chat. And tonight, he's a friend of the show. He's been on many, many times. He's the one, the only Jim Biringer. Welcome him with me on to Offside tonight. Here he is, joining the show now. What's up, Jimmy?
What's up, buddy? How are you today?
Oh, you know, just cruising through the segments, waiting to get to this one. It's the absolute best one of the night. So fired up, got a lot to talk about with you. But how's everything in Jim's world on the 4th of July weekend?
You know, 4th of July weekend is come and gone here in the States. Back It's summertime now in the National Hockey League, so everybody gets to be wherever they need to be, whether it's cottage life, Vermont life, whatever. It's nice. I mean, we're still waiting. We got some arbitration things to be watching, maybe trade season. I'll believe it when I see it. I know everybody's talking about, oh, this guy's going to get traded, that guy's going to get traded. Probably August because, the league needs some time to wind down. But, it's fun to talk about.
It does feel like there's more chatter this offseason going into it than there usually is. There's more anticipation. Usually once free agency hits, day 5, everybody's kind of tuned out. There's no real watch for rumblings or, hey, this might happen. There's guys that that are holding on because they're going to sign a contract with a certain team, whether it's the Islanders who usually do that when they announce their contracts late when Lou was there, or just different teams who have guys in their back pocket like the Leafs with Steven Lorentz and stuff like that they're going to sign once they figure things out come camp. So no deal is done, and then all of a sudden it's done. But this offseason going into it, I don't know, man. It just seems like there's a lot more unrest, a lot more teams wanting to do things. And Alan Walsh pointing out that teams have a lot of salary cap right now. So maybe next week it's going to be trade, baby.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. I know there's some winding down time for a lot of these guys too. But again, it's trade. It's all well and good. Everybody's got money to spend. But who wants to give up? Like, you got to give up something to get something, right? I was listening to Steve Yzerman the other day, and he's like, yeah, we were trying to get this guy or that guy. We have picks and everything. Yeah, but no one wants, Compher or Andrew Kopp or guys like that. They want Edvidson. They want Seider. They want Lucas Raymond. They want Marco Casper. But you don't want to give up those guys. Well, and no one really wants to trade. We'll see. I mean, Bo Byram's name is the big one now. I mean, obviously they filed for salary arbitration, but that doesn't mean that he can't get traded still. That's something I'm keeping an eye on in Buffalo because it's Buffalo and we got to keep eyes on them. I'm interested to see if San Jose is going to unload a defenseman or two, but they got to get salary back because they just got above the cap floor. I know there's a lot of things going on, New Jersey. Let's see if they dump on Andre Palat. Could they move out Dawson Mercer? Dougie Hamilton's name is out there. Don't think that's the best idea. But hey, I've only played the game and covered the game and watched this team. And I've seen what Florida did with defense. And, right shot defensemen don't grow on trees.
They certainly don't. Well, a player that would look good in teal is David Kampf. If you need to get back over that salary cap floor, I'm sure the Leafs could work some sort of deal there to make that happen. Obviously, maybe a prospect going the other way or a high-rounded pick going with David Kampf gets them over the salary cap floor. They get to deal off a defenseman, bring back assets that way. Who knows? Different things. But I want to ask you, we just had free agency. Give me your winners and losers. Can be 2 on each side, but I want to hear your winners and losers and why.
All right. I mean, it could be easy for me to be like Florida because they kept everybody. That's the easy answer, right? That's taking the easy road, right? Oh, they kept Marchand, they kept Bennett, they kept Ekblad, Nosek. They found all these guys, right? All right, I guess they could. That's Florida, but I said this the other day on Rod Peterson's show. I like what the Islanders did. Sneaky good signings of Jonathan Drouin, the extension from Holmstrom. They get Shabanov from Russia. The extension for Romanov. I've liked what they've done there. San Jose's added some nice pieces. Orlov, a big winner again on D. I think they did pretty well. They're going to be a better team. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they'll be a better team than what they were last year defensively. I think I like what they did, being honest. I really did. I do like their signings, and I think there's a lot of sneaky good ads that they've made. I got to say the Leafs are a winner, to be honest, because they finally won a negotiation. I know we're going to get to that. That's later on. But to me, I put the Leafs as a winner in free agency because they were able to keep their guys under salary in terms of, hey, Tavares could have got a Stamkos type deal, but he didn't. Knies could have asked for the bag. He took, he's like, you know what? We meet in the middle of 6 years. I'm getting 7.75. All right, let's go. Flip side of things, I think Vancouver, to me, I don't know what the plan is out in Vancouver, to be
No.
honest. Like, I really, Demko, a 3-year contract, full no move every year. I mean, that's great. You're loyal to the dude, but like, I mean, I don't know if he can stay healthy. Like, that's the
That's been
biggest
the big
question.
problem, right?
Yeah, like that's the biggest question mark for me with Demko is like, can the dude stay healthy? Like, if he can, that's great for the Vancouver Canucks. And I also thought Besser was gone. But this is, like I've said, it's typical Vancouver, right?
It's
You
the
think a
weird thing
guy.
though. Like he's like, oh, one phone call changed that. Well, why didn't that phone call happen 10 months ago?
Yeah, it's what I don't understand. Like, and all the talk, like leading into the deadline, felt like he was going to get traded. Oh, no, he wasn't going to get traded. He felt underappreciated. There's some weird stuff going on in Vancouver. And to me, like, I hate like bagging on Seattle, but I just don't understand another team. I just don't get what's going on out there. Like, I really don't. And like LA too. Like, I think
Oh,
LA
LA.
signings are good because, like, to me, like, you could put him as a winner, but I'm not. But like, I know people rag on Cody Ceci, but he's actually a pretty good like bottom 6 defenseman in the league. Like, I'm not trying to be the Cody Ceci defender, but if you looked at what he did for Edmonton, he's not the reason they lost in a Stanley Cup final the year before. So
No, he definitely fits the role, that's for sure. I just think maybe they might have overpaid a little bit. That's all.
yeah, no, I think so. That with Perry too, and I mean, good for these guys that got paid. But again, I think you look at that like Pacific Northwest region, like Vancouver, Seattle, like especially Seattle. Like, what is the game plan here? Like, I know what San Jose's game plan is. I kind of know what Montreal's game plan is, but it's like Seattle, Vancouver, Anaheim. Like, what are your game plans? Like, I have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's, I don't know, maybe waiting for a player, trying to figure it out. Hopefully some young guys hit. It's that thing where you're trying to fill the gaps, but you're filling the gaps with a lot of this.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
might burn
Like,
you longer down the line.
Like, good for Granlund for getting paid, right? Like, good for him. Like, he's going to be a good addition for Anaheim. But it seems like what was going on, like the right direction with all these young guys coming in and taking the next step. Now, because Quenneville's there, now we got to like completely do a 180, right? But I still don't think this team's a playoff team.
No.
So
that makes me excited about the Maple Leafs too. Like, they didn't go and knee-jerk reaction to losing Marner and overpay someone to fill that spot. They just waited.
No, they did. And I think here's my take on the replacements. Like, I'd like Michelli. I think that's a great trade for me. I like the player. I've always liked the player. I think Nick Waugh fills a perfect role.
Something they've been needing.
100% needing. And like I said before, Knies is still there. And now you're taking a chance on a guy like Michelli, right? We've seen what Florida's done with guys like Verhaeghe. Imagine if Michelli matures into a top 6 forward.
He very well could. He only fell out of favor in Utah because they have too many of those type of players, too many small players who can dish the puck. So you put him in a lineup with a guy who can score like William Nylander, heck, even Austin Matthews. Maybe he excels, but another guy too, cheap on a contract. And Leaf fans, I'll say it again. I said it earlier. Do not anoint this guy the Mitch Marner replacement because of what he's done with the London Knights. But Easton Cowan may carve himself out a nice role with this team. The right things are being said about him. He might make the jump this year. Don't be surprised if he starts in the AHL. But if he does make the Leafs, Leaf fans, do not anoint him the next Mitch Marner. He will have his own thing. Let him cut his teeth and carve his own path. But I do believe that kid will be a player for the Leafs sooner than later as well.
No, I like that assessment on Easton Cowan because that's what I felt like with Matthew Knies, right? Like, I thought that when I saw him play in college, I was like, oh, they're going to give him the year. Okay, good. And then he got that late season call up, right? His season got finished. He comes in, plays a couple games. Like, that kid, I feel it with Cowan too. I feel like the same way I felt about Knies. Like, they have a nice young group coming, and Knies is like, you know what? I don't need to get paid right now. Cap's going to go up in a few years from now. I'll go get my money. And
the good thing for the Leafs, the cap is going to start doing this.
Yeah, exactly. Bad thing for the Leafs when all those contracts hit. No one could predict a pandemic and a stagnant cap. That's the big thing. Like, and like not to like just ramble on here for a minute, but I got to say this. I put out a tweet the other day when I was hearing Kelly McCrimmon talk. I don't know if it was a troll job, but he's like, "Oh, the thing that hurt the Maple Leafs the most was the salary cap." I'm like, "Bro, the cap doesn't play hockey games." Like, I get it. No one saw a pandemic coming. Like, I get it, but those guys didn't finish in the playoffs. Like, period. Like, end of discussion. No one showed up in the playoffs. Like, I'm just, and it not just Marner, not just Matthews, not just Nylander, Tavares. Everybody in big games no showed.
The only thing that I'll say to that about the flat cap thing, and I've talked about this ad nauseum, and it's done, it's over with. There's nothing you can do. But at the same time, if we did not have the flat cap, I do believe that a guy like Zach Hyman is still a Toronto Maple Leaf.
100%.
I believe a guy like Connor Brown is still a Toronto Maple Leaf. There's different players that would have still been a part of this market, and the cap going up would have allowed them to also add other augmented pieces quicker than they have. It took them a long time to figure it out, and Brad Treliving coming in and really revamping that decor, getting the goaltender situation together. But on top of that, the forward group right now, it is in limbo this offseason. I'll say that much. But I'm laughing at the fact that I'm getting DMs from Sens fans and Habs fans saying the Leafs aren't going to make the playoffs next year. I said, no. To me, I'm saying the Sens aren't going to make it. I'll give the Habs. I think the Habs are going to make it.
Sure. I think the Habs are jumping back to. I think the Habs are getting back in the playoffs again next year. This was the year for the Habs to take the next step, right? Like last year, they got in because Rangers and everybody else was bad in the conference. But like to me, Noah Dobson, great ad for them. Like they're just got to get a 2 seed. They got a nice backup goalie in Capo Kakinen. I really like that player. I think he's a solid backup goalie for Montebo. Take some workload off of him. Because you can't be running him like ragged into the ground like they did last year. Like you can't do that. And that's why the combination of Stolarz and Joseph Wall worked so well in Toronto. They knew how to balance the season out. And it's unfortunate Stolarz got hurt, and we don't know what would have been with that. But again, I go back to Game 3. I'll say it. They go up 3-0. That's it. Series done. Over, done with.
Every Leaf fan in their house, every Leaf fan in the arena, every Leaf fan in Leaf Square thought when the Leafs were up 3-1, we were going up 3-0, and this was a year where the Leafs become a wagon and do something. But it all fell apart, as it always does in Leafland. But hey, the DNA is changing. The way they're operating is changing. So I'll ask you this. What do the Leafs do now, in your opinion? There's rumors of Jack Roslovic waiting to be signed by the Leafs, like we were talking about. 22 goals last year, could fit in your top 2 lines, has played with Austin Matthews in the development program, so does know the player. The players are familiar to each other. That might be a thing where there's trades out there, so they might augment that way. I want to know, what do you think the Leafs do here? Is it just Roslovic, and then they wait till the trade deadline with some cap space as they move guys out? Or is there something more happening trade route-wise? And please, do not say they're trading Brendan Carlo. That is just ridiculousness to me.
They're not going to trade
2 more years.
No, you're not going to trade Carlo because even Trey Living said his defense is set. I mean, like every GM wants to add defense, like because you need depth guys. But I wouldn't touch that decor in Toronto. I really like what they've done. I love what Trey Living did with the decor there. Like I don't think you should be touching that. Especially Brandon Carlo.
It's finally something you don't have to worry about.
No, they're good. They're good defensively. Like they're good. I think
when's the last time Leaf fans could say that about the back end?
2000.
It's been a long time.
Thomas Caberlet days.
Brian McCabe days. Thomas Caberlet.
All those guys. Look, I'll say this. I think they probably – I mean, I think half the league's looking for a second-line center, but they have a nice one in John Tavares. So, I mean, if they could always add a center, that would be good. But I think Roslovic, to me, I think if they can get the money to get that to work, I think that's a great ad for them because he's a consistent 20-goal scorer in the league. Like, he's been that way for a while. Columbus, Carolina, Winnipeg days. Like, he's a good player. Like, I like the fit for him. Like, even with the Rangers, even though he underperformed a little bit, but everybody underperforms with New York for some reason. But to me, I think he would be a good fit in Toronto, especially depending, again, where Michelli fits. Like, if he's playing top line with Matthews, then Roslovic can slide in with Tavares and Nylander. Like, he's one of those guys you can throw up and down that lineup in that top line. He fits a role perfectly. And I think
Another guy for
that's
the
a
Leafs
solid
too.
8.
We're talking about adding these guys, but you still have 20 goal scorer Bobby McMahon
Yeah, he's
on the
still there. Like,
roster as well.
yeah, you still got. There's a nice depth scoring with this team, right? I think maybe if you can move out of Yarncroke or Kampf for something like that would be.
Well, honestly, in your bottom 6 now, the $2 million player is now what the $1 player used to be as the cap is going up. You can do a lot worse than Calle Yarncroke on a full season on your fourth line if that's what it is, running Lorentz, Lawton, and Yarncroke as your fourth line.
That's a pretty good fourth line, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. That skill and size on one line. Look what Florida's done with their fourth line, skill and size. I mean, everybody's following a pattern here, and the Leafs are changing their DNA. I think Roslovic to me is fun, and whatever you got, and then who's in your system, right? In the AHL, like maybe you just keep it as is, see who comes up. Right, you never know who's coming.
There's young guys that are looking to cut their teeth, man. There's young guys in defense too. Cade Weber's down there. You got the other young gentleman, Chadwick. Yeah. So you got players that are looking to make their mark.
Right. So I mean, do you really need to add from the free agent market, which isn't the greatest? And I think that's why we hear a lot of trade chatter because the free agent class isn't the greatest. And
I also think the Leafs are waiting for the next year free agent class.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. I think everybody's waiting for next year's free agent class.
I think there's a 97 that wants to come home, maybe. Listen, no matter what anybody says, until there is pen to paper in Edmonton, I don't care. It may not be this team, but there will be chatter abound about Connor McDavid if he does not sign, and it goes into the season. That will be the biggest topic all year long.
I don't think it makes the season.
You don't think it makes it? You think it's Draisaitl-esque?
Yeah, I think it's I think it's Draisaitl. Maybe Matthews-esque, almost like end of August kind of type deal. Like, right before training camp, get it done before camp because I just don't think that team needs that big of a distraction. And they've taken such a step back, the Oilers, because of the depth that they've lost. Yeah. That like this is the one thing that you do not want to deal with heading into training camp. I said it with the Austin Matthews contract. I said Leafs got to get that done, or it's a distraction come playoffs, the season. So I think they get it done. I think they get it done before training camp. Be honest.
Listen, for Edmonton fans, because we're dealing with the Marner loss. However, everybody wants to deal with it. For Edmonton fans, I do hope it gets done. Yeah. I do hope that Connor McDavid is an Oiler forever. But in the back of my mind, I'd love to see him suit up for these guys for one time, just to be a Leaf for a few years. It'd be beautiful. It would be amazing running. Imagine this as your center depth, okay? Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, flip them however you want. Yeah. John Tavares on your third C. And then your fourth C is either Nicholas Waugh or Scotty Lawton. That's pretty good down the middle. Just saying. It might be pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think so. Connor McDavid fits with any team in the league, to be honest. Let's be honest.
Now, that's why I said it may not be this team. It may be anybody, right? So
yeah, exactly. But again, you got to cross that bridge when we get there. It feels like this was the same talk we had about Draisaitl last year. It's like, Draisaitl.
I always thought Draisaitl would stay.
There was some rumblings that a lot of people thought Draisaitl was walking. To be honest, not out of Edmonton, but fan bases around the league. We could get Draisaitl. We could get this guy.
For me, it's not even the fan bases this time. It's the press conference that Connor McDavid had with the line of the endless disappointments here, and then quickly followed up with some good times too. That caught me off guard. I was like, oh, Jesus. All right. And then saying, I got to do what's best for me and my family as well. Usually guys in that position will say, yeah, I want to stay here. Or I want to be a X for life, or I'd like to be here for a long time. We'll figure it out. I'll let my agent and the team figure it out. He didn't say those things.
No.
So
but he also
that leaves the door wide open.
And he's also disappointed. He lost back-to-back Stanley Cup final. That drains anybody. I think, to be honest,
going to dinner with Austin Matthews in Toronto this week doesn't help either.
No, it doesn't. He was home, but that means his representatives that were talking to Edmonton, because I know Stan Bowman, all those guys flew out to Toronto, met up in the offices, and started talks. Granted, you could talk with a lot of these guys that were, entering their final year, their deals, like that Rasmus Andersons and McDavid's come July 1st. You could talk beforehand, but you just couldn't talk details, right? You can't talk details before July 1st, right? So, but we all know we talk, right? Like, oh,
Right.
hey, what's up? Like, what's going on? Like, all that stuff. So, I mean, that's how it goes on. But I think McDavid's going to stay. I think, but I'll say this. But here's my but. I think it's a Matthews type deal. That's just,
It'll be shorter. It'll definitely be shorter. I think it'll be shorter than 5 years as well. I think it'll be 3.
I think it's a 4-year. I think it's going to go 4. I think he's going to go 4 Matthews style.
We'll see what he does. But I want to ask you, obviously, JT and Knies putting pen to paper. We touched on it for just a second, so we won't spend too long on it here. But both deals, great deals for the Maple Leafs, obviously, finally looking like they're winning some negotiations here. A lot of people, Frank Cervelli, Darren Dreger, saying that Matthew Knies could have gotten $10 million. And that's what he could be asking for. Comes underneath 8, which is great for 6 years. And then John Tavares, we heard, could get the Brock Nelson deal, could get this deal, hits the market. He could be an $8 million guy, given he had 38 goals to the right team. Signs under 5 with the Maple Leafs. Uses that now outlawed deferredness for his contract as well. So the Leafs hitting all the marks on that one. But both players signing for far less than everybody was predicting they signed for. What do you think of those deals there, Jim?
I like the deals. I mean, I like the Tavares deal because it's the Duchesne deal minus the deferred money. Yeah. Like, I think that's like like we were talking about it at the beginning of the year. Like, what do we think Tavares was going to come in at? We both kind of figured it was in the $4 to $5 million range. But
I said 5. I was fine with 5.
Yeah, I was fine with 5 too, because a guy who scores 38 goals, you're going to get him at on a $5 million AAV. Like, that's really good, because you don't know, because you could see diminishing returns this year. You don't know. Like,
well, the one thing I'll say about him, he's like Sidney Crosby. He's not the same level, but the way he prepares himself, take care of his body, make sure he's ready for the grind of the season. He does all of the right things professionally to keep himself humming at a high note. So that to me is good.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't know. Do I expect 38 goals next season? I don't think so. Like,
I still think he's good for 30 tucks.
I think he's good for 30, at least 30, right? Like, he's still in really good shape. But the thing is, to me, like, here's my thing with JT. Like, I think he needs to just defer a little bit more to Matthews and to some of the other guys in the room. Like, yep. John, we loved you. You were the captain, but this room needs a different voice and a different way of talking. Like,
I think Knies is going to be that voice.
So do I. I think Knies is going to be that guy. But speaking of Knies, I like that's a great deal too, because a lot of people heard all offer sheet for Knies, $10 million offer sheet.
I like how he poured cold water on that.
Yeah,
me too. Once but twice.
No, but he's like, I want to be here. Like, I want to be a Maple Leaf. This is where I want to be. And to hear that, he's like, I could have taken more money, but I want to be here and win.
He also said he would have signed for longer if he could have.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact of the matter is you get him at 6 years, you get him at a good AAV under 8, and he's only getting better.
Yeah.
Like, that's a win, man. These are 2 massive wins for a Toronto Maple Leafs management team that's been heavily, heavily criticized since the day Austin Matthews got to the team, to the day William Nylander and Mitch Marner. And look, you can put Tavares in there, but he was a free agent. So he had every right to get $11 million or whatever any team.
Got 13 from San Jose, so he did leave a little money on the table.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, he had the right to do it, but the other guys wanted every dollar given to them coming out of entry-level deal. That's not how you win.
No, it's not how you win, but hey, listen, we'll see what this team looks like. The Marner saga is finally done.
Done.
For me, I look at it like this and say, he told Leafs management 2 years ago that he was going to see out his contract. So the Leafs already knew he wasn't coming back. So something should have been done. They tried. They couldn't figure it out. That's fine. For me, I'm not going to sit here and say F Mitch Marner. He earned his right to go where he wants to go, to do what he wants to do. He didn't get the job done for Leaf fans in the playoffs. Great regular season player. One of the top 10 greatest Leafs, I think, of all time. You can't take that away from him. But the fact is, I don't know if you agree with this one, and I'm not bashing the player. Go do your thing in Vegas. See you later. It sucks you left. But for me, he just couldn't get it done when it mattered for the Maple Leafs in the playoffs. And that's just not on him. That's on Austin Matthews. That's on William Nylander. That's on John Tavares. That's on the team as a whole. But for me,
Brendan Shanahan, Kyle Dubas, everybody.
But he just himself, when you are expected to be an elite player and want to be treated and paid and catered to as such, those are the moments where you get your tickets to punch them in when you need things or want things. You show up in the playoffs, you score that big goal, you block that big shot, which he did coming into the first playoffs against Boston. That big shot block that led the Leafs to winning that game against Boston. They didn't win the series, but that meant a lot to Leaf fans. A guy laying their body on the line, doing those right things. But you did not have those tickets to punch, and you wanted to be the captain. You were sour that Austin got to be captain. That's not cool.
No, and the fact of the matter is too, like, I'm sorry, but he got some bad advice. I know
he got a lot of bad advice. His dad ruined everything.
He got a lot of bad advice because, let's be honest, last offseason, if he really wanted to be a Vegas Golden Knight, he should have been a Vegas Golden Knight last offseason. Like, like, what took it so long? Like, this is where I'm coming from. I've asked this question to a lot of people, and I brought this question up. It's like, okay, this was the team you wanted to go to. Then why did you play hardball and just stop every trade from happening? I know you said you wanted to get it done in Toronto, but if you truly wanted to go to Vegas, you should have done this last offseason and let the wheels in motion.
He was okay to go to Vegas. It's just they couldn't agree to the assets for all three teams, apparently.
Well, then just do it with Vegas then. Why do we need a 3-team deal? Like, you could have got it done.
Yeah. No, it could have easily happened. But it's another Mitch Marner-esque thing, right? Yeah. There's just so many things where I'm first contract, second contract, wanting to be traded or get out of there, all those different things. To me, it really shines a light. And I don't know if Austin Matthews was talking about him, but the passenger comment, we have too many passengers. I'm wondering if he was referring to Mitch.
I mean, he should be referring to himself too.
Well, he was. I don't think he was healthy.
No, he wasn't healthy. Like, and he still doesn't know, and we still don't know. Well, some of us know, and we're not at liberty to say, but what it was, because I'm not gonna, publicize something that he wants to keep private. So I'll, but again, he's not healthy, and that's the problem. You and I talked about this. His shot was not there. His shot was just not there. I saw it 4 Nations. I saw all in the playoffs regular season. His shot was off because
it was not as electric and had the velocity he usually has. We all know what it is. We all know what's going on.
Dude, put 69 tucks in the year before. Like, he could have hit 70.
What's weird is he had a great season, 50-plus goals.
Yeah.
Slump season. Great season, 69 goals. Now, so is it going to be the Leafs get this guy every other season for a full, healthy Austin Matthews?
Could be. I mean, to be honest, I said last year, whatever he was dealing with, they should have just LTIR'd him and just let him get healthy and bring him back. Like,
they should have shut him down, Jim.
They should have shut him down, get him healthy. Like, when it took him over a month to come back in November, like when he had to go over to Germany, just shut him down. Just let him get healthy. Don't even worry about it. Just let him get healthy.
The team's going to make the playoffs regardless.
Exactly. Like, they have enough talent to get there and get to the playoffs. So, okay, so you don't have home ice. Maybe that's a good thing for this team. This team clearly can't perform when it matters on home ice in big games. Now, it's a completely different topic for a completely different day.
Oh, yeah, we'll get there through this summer. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. We got a lot more to discuss with that. But what I'm saying is if you look at Matthews, he just wasn't healthy. Okay, a lot of guys, there are a lot of passengers. Mitch, Willie, John, like everybody. Bobby McMahon. Like, there were a lot of dudes that were passengers in the playoffs. But the saga Marner is done in Toronto.
And for me, Leaf fans, it's done. Like, Vegas put the little tweet out tonight, the little poke at everybody. Mitch Marner's a Toronto Maple Leaf. Happy Sunday. Or Mitch Marner's a Vegas Golden Knight. Happy Sunday. Cool. Yeah. Glad you got him. Hope he enjoys 2 goals throughout the playoffs when he gets there. It's great. You guys will really enjoy him. He'll enjoy it there. It's done. Just put it in a box, close the lid, and put it up on the shelf, and focus on the players that are here that want to be here.
Matthew Knies
wants
to be here.
Austin Matthews. Whoever. Easton Cowan. Whoever wants to sign a deal and be a Maple Leaf for a long period of time, that's who you need to put your thing in. Chris Tanev wants to be a
That was a great signing, by the way, last year. Yes. That was a solid. I think that was the first to me in the wins for Brad Treliving, the number.
I
that
like
he got.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So many people don't. I like what he brings to
OEL's
this
been
team.
fine for this team. I think OEL's been a great signing for this team.
So for me, I look at it.
I have no issues with OEL whatsoever.
Yeah, some people do, but listen, we have the Leafs making the playoffs. The Marner saga is over.
Done.
It's going to be a fun summer. I do think the Leafs will still mess with this lineup a little bit here, and you'll see some PTOs. I do think Max Pacioretty will be a Maple Leaf again for next season.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think he really enjoyed it. The playoff, Max Pacioretty was absolutely great. He enjoyed his time. He said the medical staff made him feel the best he's felt in many a season. So that to me is a win for the Leafs as well. So get him on that roster. But I'm fired up for it. Jim, go ahead and tell everybody where they can follow you. I try to share as much of your stuff as I can.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that, James. I appreciate that so much. Follow me. I mean, obviously, you see I'm active on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it now, at Jim Biringer on X. Follow me along. If you want to have some fun with me on Instagram, Jersey Jim 33 is my main account. Full Press NHL on both Instagram and on X as well. Nightcap Recast, my other one, and Full Press Hockey on YouTube is the show. Check it out. Got Final Word on Hockey. We're gonna take some time off from some things, get some summer things in as well, but follow me along there. I mean, Instagram is fun. Instagram and Twitter's been fun. I love the interaction with the fans. Everybody's been so good. I mean, hey, you know what? Like I said, I put something out today about Dougie Hamilton. Half the fan base likes it, half the fan base doesn't like it. Personally, I don't really care. That's my opinion. That's how I see it. Because if the team trades a right shot defenseman, they don't grow on trees, and then you're gonna take a step back. And then you're going to rely on young guys to
unproven commodities.
Unproven commodities. That's not how winning is done in this league. I'm sorry, it's just not.
No. It's a way to augment your lineup a little bit if you're doing four groups. Taking a bet like on the guy the Leafs traded for, different things like that. But when you're looking for something like a stalwart on defense, right-handed shot defensemen are the ones you need, and the Leafs have learned that a long, long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've been trying to replace a guy that's in Washington right now, a guy named Rasmus Sandin. Yeah.
Yeah, let's not go there. I love this Rasmus Sandin.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake back in the day. But hey, my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, it's for sure. Listen, all right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is for here, though. Go check out Offside Hockey Talk on Twitter, on YouTube, on TikTok, wherever you like to consume your hockey content. Offside Hockey Talk is there. Get in there. Get listening. Send me your DMs. Send me your reviews. Send me your tweets, posts, whatever it is. We will feature them on the show, and I'll tag you in it when you do. But you know what it is around here. It's no suits, no scripts, just fan hockey talk.